The two key things, two things that I want to do are primarily going to be some long form posts,
Yep.
right? And then I also need to do 4,000 words for my book.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm ready to hand over. Yeah, and so I mean I've kind of got my head around it, I think, almost, but it's doing some strange things, right? That kind of, and I don't know whether that's me or it, and if I've got to train it more or whatever the case may be. How about if I share my screen and show you something that I've been tinkering with?
Yep, let's do that.
Okay. All right, so here's the thing I'm starting, why job interviews don't work, right? And so I've done, write a blog post about why job interviews are ineffective at identifying the right candidate, write an introductory paragraph. So I think I'm okay with the commands, but you can tell me otherwise. The interesting thing about it is that it kind of went into unconscious bias quite deeply. And it really hasn't kind of kicked off in terms of an introductory interview. It hasn't kicked off with the fact that job interviews are ineffective. It's kind of really homed in on the unconscious bias piece. Then something else that I had a crack at was write a paragraph about the poor predictive reliability of interviews. And it didn't really pick much up. Right, so I know that there's been a whole bunch of research that's out there. There's a lot of data and metadata out there that is now showing that interviews are, you know, poor tools for discerning somebody's likelihood of success in the future. So then I did the don't read anything above, three stars, yeah. Write a paragraph on why years of experience aren't strong predictors of job performance. And what's really weird is it's kind of picked up stuff that makes me nervous that it's plagiarizing. It looks like it's just doing copy paste.
Yeah, so what it's doing, it's basically extracting from its database. Now, one thing to keep in mind is it's not recent. So it goes as far as, I think the last, for GPT-3, which is the technology that runs behind it, it's only up until 2019, I think. So if you're looking for like research in the last 2 years, you're not going to get it through Jarvis, but it will give whatever's been input, like entered into its database prior to that date, right? Now, yeah, what it's doing, it is pulling data from, it's just grabbing, it's going, okay, what is the context you're giving me? And you've given it really a sentence, right? What I would suggest you do is actually give it a bit more information. So if you think of it, you're saying, write a paragraph on why years of experience aren't strong predictors of job performance. I'd guide that a bit more. So you can add some qualifiers around that, right? So I instead of saying, hey, Jarvis, can you write a paragraph about this? I might even put a sentence above that to say, well, you can give it a go as we're talking. You can say, okay, why don't you tell it, you know, before the 3 dots, right after the 3 dots, why don't you tell it something like, instead of, why don't you give it what you know? So you give it a statement rather than a question. So if you said, right, you know, here, you know, years of experience aren't strong predictors of job performance because, right, and then get rid of write a paragraph on why, right? So delete that and change it to years of experience aren't strong predictors of job performance because, right, and then let it fill in the gaps from there. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. Okay, now do your Control J and let it run. Put your cursor right after the because.
All right.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Okay, so now it's starting to do a better job. Well, you tell me, you're the expert, but what I'm reading,
yeah, it is. Yeah,
that's giving me more of what I'm looking for, and then you can expand. Now from here, then you could say, okay, well, did you want more bullet points, data points on this? Like, what are you? Because you're the guide, so you're the pilot, so you're going, okay, Jarvis, I like that. Now tell me a bit more. Let's dig into that a bit more, right? So if you want to. Have you got a target for like how long that paragraph needs to be or that section needs to be?
No, not really.
Yeah. Okay, it hurts me. Let's see where it ends. All right. So it hurts me to see people who get jobs and who have no chance to succeed at them. Those who lack business acumen or self-awareness about how they're okay. So I don't know where it's going with that last sentence. So you can hit complete, it'll fill out the blanks for you. So you can just kind of keep hitting until it gives you garbage. Like at some point it will spit out garbage, right? So it's just, so now here it's gone. That's why I'm writing this blog post. So now it's time to, that's not useful for you, right? So at least it's completed the sentence, all right? So who's like, right? So now you could then give it okay, well, I like that. What's the next logical step? So the way I would, so is this for the book here right now, or is this for an article?
For an article.
Okay.
Well, it's actually going to be both. Like most of my articles get sucked into my book.
Gotcha. Yeah. So then I would outline before you even come into this. Like I would bullet point like what we did in the demo the other day. Go down, press enter twice on your screen.
Sorry, go where?
Just press enter on your keyboard a couple of times.
Yep.
Yeah. Go up, hit the up the top next to the I. Change the mode. Okay. Go into power mode.
Yeah.
Let's go to blog post outline. Yep. Let's in here type in, what are we talking about? We're talking about unconscious bias.
Well, the topic is why job interviews don't work.
Okay. Put that in there. Grab that. And maybe give me 5 reasons why. So at the front of the sentence, just put 5 or 7 reasons why or something like that. So we're just going to use Jarvis to give us an outline.
Okay.
And then whatever tone of voice, I think you'll probably stick professional or expert, guide, whatever. You could even try Rafiki and see what comes out of it. You can, like, seriously, you can do some seriously funny stuff with this. It just depends on your tone, right? And how you want your thing to be, right? Now scroll down to the bottom of the, you just need to hit generate. So maybe let's do 5 outputs. Oh, that's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah, just play with that. If you find the first 3 are shit, you just go to, let's do 3 more, and you just keep going.
Is that going to do that? Oh, it's doing it over here. Okay.
Anything there that's useful for you for this article? You might like chop and choose from. You can even generate more. You're feeling none of those are kind of resonant.
Yeah, none of those really are, because it's, maybe I need to get rid of Rafiki, because that's
my bad. Yeah, okay, expert. And if you want to like guide the context, so it goes into more of the data side of it, you could probably change the title a bit more to go into why job interviews don't work, 5 data-driven reasons why, or 5 psychological why, right? So you can give it a bit more context. Let's see what it's giving you now. Job interviews are outdated. I mean, you could talk about that. The process is outdated. Employers don't get enough information about the candidate.
I don't disagree with any of the points, but it's still not really going to where I want to go, because you know me, I'm all about the science, right?
Yeah.
So what I want people to understand is, I know you think that interviews work, but they don't. And the reason they don't is because you're a goddamn human being.
So why don't we change it to 5 myths about job interviews?
You've really got to, and so what I'm learning from this is you've really got to think about different ways to ask it to come up with what you want, right?
Yeah, because it's pulling from a data point, and then you have to guide it. Like, this is going to be, if you were training an assistant writer to write with you, it's the same thing. You're going to go, they're going to write something, and you're going to go, that's the right answer, but I actually want the angle to be more around this thing, right?
Yeah, right.
And this is why I say to people who are like, oh, I can just buy this software and it replaces the need for me to hire a writer or an editor. I'm saying that's bullshit because it doesn't do that. It doesn't remove the expert. You still need to have the subject matter expert involved, but it gives you, like, it can give you very quickly, like you've already been through this, so you can actually see that it's giving you a lot of content, and then you're tweaking it to get the voice and the angles and perspectives right. And that's where subject matter expertise comes into it, right?
So if I grabbed, like, I know of a piece of research, right? And if I made some reference to that,
yes,
yeah.
Can you show me? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let me go to it. Might have been in a different, oh, here you go. So if I grabbed that, could I then say, write more about this?
Yeah, try it. It just depends on when that was published and whether it's in its database.
Yeah, that's, when did I write this? 2018.
Yeah, yeah. So again, we don't know, we can't see what's in there, but test it.
Yeah. So where would I do that?
Just chuck it at the bottom of or you could try to use the long form because you're in boss mode, so you can just throw it down the bottom. Yeah, put the 3 stars above it.
That was weird. Why didn't it pick it up?
It's not an image, is it? No, it's quite.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yep. So put your 3 stars above that. And then give it, so just according to Richard, okay, when it comes to choosing candidate, traditionally there's as much as use as flipping a coin. So we are talking about, now give it some guidance, right? So tell it, like, how do you want to start the next sentence? So you're saying, this is much, it's not a, it's not guaranteed that an interviewer will give you the right candidate. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, well, in fact, far from it. It's almost guaranteed it won't get you the right candidate.
Right? So you could even like start with that statement, right? So it's almost guaranteed that you get interviews won't, what you just said just then. Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Compose. Let's go. Okay. So now it's taking that little bit of context, giving it.
Yes.
All right.
Now that's more like it.
Yeah. Okay. Now you got to be careful when it does stuff like this, where it goes in a recent study by Fortune. You're gonna have to find that and link to it, right?
Yeah.
People are gonna go, well, what study, right? So that's the only thing. Yeah, I've already know that. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Can you see how you take a little bit of context, you give it that context, and then go, okay, go from here, Jarvis, and then I'll go, okay, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
What else? What else do we want to work on? Okay, so that was one thing. You're saying you want us to look at.
Well, it was just primarily that, mate. It was just more around how do I get it to write about what I want it to write and in the style that I want it to write.
Yep.
Right. And so, yeah, what I'm hearing here is I've got to be a little bit more instructive.
Yes.
I'd be interested to see what it would. I'm going to do this again. and just give it a command. So if I put in here, write more on this subject, should that work?
That's right. This is all part of the experimentation.
Okay. Does it compose or generate AI content? Oh, so that's for here. Hey.
No. You can close that side. If you just go to click on the eye at the top. Yep. So in here you can just do what's the keyboard shortcut? Command
J.
Command J. No, Command J is to write more. If you want to use a command, then you can do it's Command. Here it is. I'm just putting it up. Okay. Command Enter. So move that write more on the subject down a sentence so it doesn't confuse.
Okay.
Right on the subject. Okay, then just put Command Enter.
Love it.
There we go. Okay.
I love it. Now it's making it get all warm and fuzzy.
I love how you're like, it's giving me data. So it's warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, it is. Interview validity was 0.13, which means nothing to most people, but that just gets me all hot and bothered.
Oh, yeah, but I'd say
Yeah,
you've already done your outline for the book. You know what your chapter is going to be. So essentially now you just have to pull each one apart and put it into this long form editor and go for gold, man. Like I think that's you know how to guide it now.
Yeah, cool, mate. That was excellent. Thank you.
Anything else? Still no. Okay. Yeah. Well, have a go. If you have any questions, throw them my way, and then I'm here for you.
Yeah, okay? We'll do. All right. Good on you.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Thanks, Sam. Cheers, mate.